selfie redemption, but I don't know if H2K will be redeemed. The Emperor's Defies absolutely nothing. There's a shutdown breakfast trying to prove that he can make the plays too. A fight with the Meteor. They take down Kami. They've got a clean house. It's only missing an auto. A double kill for White Knight, but the base is next. Targus wants to bring it home. I don't know if he can. Are you kidding me? Who is going to end the game? Targus wants to bring it in. Ruin goes down. What is this? Oh my God! H2K, that is beautiful.
For the first time in history, the fourth consecutive EU LCS title. G2 is
This is the underdogs in this game. No one expected anything, but they've been hurt.
Welcome to Week 7 of the EU LCS Spring Split. Playoffs are getting closer every day, and with only 6 games left for each of our 10 teams, every matchup matters more than ever. Good evening, everyone. I'm Daniel Dracos, and before we talk about what lies ahead, we have to hit something that will affect every single one of our games this week, and that is patch 8.4. And now to break down the biggest changes in the patch, I am joined by Aaron Medic Chamberlain.
Thank you very much, Dracos. 2 big lads to break down the big changes.
Big dude, big patch. Makes sense. Lines up. First things first, Medic. Zoe is dead. She is gone. Praise Rito. But we're not going to speak ill of the dead anymore. Instead, let's talk a little bit about the jungle changes.
Tracker's Knife, gone. It's removed. It's as dead as Zoe is. No more vision for most of the junglers as well in that early game.
And this is what I love. Is yes, the warding is down, but I hope this leads to more aggression, because you got the Skirmisher Saber, you got the Stalker's Blade, and if you think about an aggressive jungler like Joko, a man who literally lives in those lanes, I want to see what he can do with it.
And the late game has been... It's going to benefit Joko as well. It's going to benefit Giants because second Elder Drake has been buffed. More damage sits on that now. Alongside that, the buffs that you get from the Elemental Dragons are even stronger. So we now have a time limit on most of our games, Dracos. Not going to get past that second Elder.
And look, we're not LCK in terms of game length, but we have been close some weeks, so it is nice to know that if you get that second Elder Drake, you just instantly win pretty much any team fight. The other thing I think we have to hit, though, is going to be the top lane. There has been a decent number of nerfs and buffs to champions across the board. Gnar and GP, 2 of the biggest contenders for top lane, have been taken down. But Camille is untouched, folks. Not nerfed, not buffed, still just as powerful as ever. Sion, who's been steadily gaining popularity, also completely untouched as well. So I think we know who might be the most powerful champions on the top side.
And I think Odo's going to be pretty happy with this as well. His Camille's very strong over the last few weeks. But if our mid laners want to bust some of these tanks down, like the Sion, some of the AP itemization changes may help them. Liandry's now does max HP damage, so we might see more Talia, more Azir trying to take down those big tanks. And alongside that, we have a new item on the Rift. It's Spellbind.
Okay, yeah, but who actually builds this meta? Because I have never, outside of like random solo queue cheese, I don't see this item.
If you want to troll, you just build 6 of them in solo queue. But we have seen some of the EU LCS mids actually building it on some specific champions. Karthus, we've seen Perks take that in solo queue. Alongside that, Jizuke's played it on Rise. Really looking for someone who spams out quite a lot of spells. Final item that is back, it's Twin Shadows. It's back on the Rift, Dracos. And I'm
okay, wait, let's call it Spooky Ghost. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it the official name is Spooky Ghost. Let's be clear here.
If you want to get a bit clingy, you can pick up the Twin Shadows. Probably going to see it mostly in the bottom lane on Morgana, or perhaps on Vladimir in the top lane as well. Able to keep onto those targets.
And of course, what's so crazy about this patch is the sheer size of it. These are just some of the changes that could affect competitive play. Now, if you aren't 100% familiar with 8.4, don't hesitate to check the patch notes. They're either in your client or on leagueoflegends.com. We're going to keep you up to date on everything new that gets played in today's games.
Very much for that breakdown, Dracos. Thank you very much, Medic, as well. And we'll see what kind of impact the new patch will have on the standings as the teams battle it out in that ever-exciting race for playoffs. Fnatic in a really good spot. They beat G2 last week. They have taken sole possession of first place. G2 is right behind them. And every storyline is interesting. Vitality, will they keep dropping? They had another 0-2 week. Giants is still on top of the standings. Will H2K and Unicorns
long gone are the days of the splits where there was a clear top and a clear bottom. Fnatic just now getting sole control of top spot. You can see Rockhat, Team Vitality, both with 0-2 weeks, but everyone else 1-1. Anyone can take games off anybody, and it's so exciting to see.
It is very thrilling. Every game is crucial because every team can still make it to playoffs, and we've selected 3 that have a little extra to fight for. We're going to start off with Team Vitality. Already touched on them, Dracos, but now a 4-game losing streak, still in 3rd place, but they're feeling all those other teams breathing down their neck.
Yeah, from 7-1 talking trash to 7-5 getting trashed on. Yeah, not quite as talkative as they once were, but we have to, I mean, for their sake, you have to hope that they can get a few more wins because they are so close to locking in that playoff spot, but a few games does separate them, and this could just be free fall if they can't get it together here.
It could be. We'll see what they can do today. Another team that I'm looking at is the Unicorns of Love. They have a great playoff tradition here in Europe, and they now have 3 wins in a row after that questionable start to the split, actually really bad start to the split.
Yeah.
It's really good to see that they have refound themselves and are getting some wins.
It wasn't great for a while. The official called them the best 1-8 team, though, 2 weeks ago. Now they are the best 4-8 team as they continue on that win streak, and they can prove that today as they go up against H2K. So just really a loaded day in terms of hype matchups.
That's true, and hyped matchups is also Fnatic versus Misfits. That's our match of the week later because Fnatic absolutely on a roll. 7-game win streak. They can also technically lock playoffs this week. I don't think they're too worried about locking playoffs, though. They came into the split with their eyes on the throne, and it looks like they're ready to sit down.
And hey, look, it was a rough start. We can give them that, but they have finally come together. Sole possession of first place is the perfect place to be, but can they hold on to it? I think that's the question on everyone's mind.
We'll see, and we'll see what they can do in that match of the week as they are looking for their 8th win in a row versus Misfits Gaming. And funnily enough, the last game that they lost was to Misfits in week 3 before they went on that epic winning streak. So can Misfits do anything even against this powerhouse?
Look, last time it took some creative use of Summoner Spellbook and a teleport flank from a jungler, so I think, yes, it is possible, and if Misfits want to show that they are a top team, definitely getting a win here today would be very good for them, but I think that they're going to want it to be a little bit cleaner than the last time they beat Fnatic.
Yeah, we hope so. A lot of people are saying Misfits is supposed to be a top 3 team. They're better than their record suggests, but I don't believe it until they beat some of these heavy hitters.
Until you consistently can beat other top teams, have you really earned that spot? Misfits haven't shown it yet. Haven't really found consistency whatsoever.
Will be a great test for them. Fnatic versus Misfits, that's our final game of the day. There's plenty of action coming up before that. As said, every single game counts, and Vitality versus Schalke is the one that I have my eye on personally, because Vitality, obviously, will they bounce back? Will they continue being in free fall? And Schalke, can they show us a consistent win? Can they show us a strong, convincing win?
Yeah, 2 teams stuck in very different problems. Schalke seems to always have one player overextending or getting caught, can't always quite coordinate as a 5, whereas Vitality were very high on individual playmakers, Jizuke and Gilius working together, and so it's interesting to see how both of these teams are struggling because it's so completely different, and if they can solve their problems, it will be a pretty exciting match to see who actually is developing quicker.
Every single one of these matches is hype. Unicorns of Love versus Vitality, versus H2K rather, we touched on it. Both of the teams that started off horribly and are going on a bit of a miracle run, possibly, even though it's only a 1-game difference with the team.
Look, I'm honestly, like, this is probably the most exciting game. I know that people are going to be excited for Misfits Fnatic. I think that is a top-tier matchup, but seeing who can improve faster, H2K and Unicorns of Love, it's like watching an arms race in person. Like, who is actually going to get the edge here because they're both tied and they can get out of that bottom spot today.
What a thrilling race for the playoffs, and the battle for those playoffs continues with our first game between Rockhat and Giants. So let's send it to our casters and hit the rift.
Thank you very much, Sharks. And hello, everybody. I'm Trevor Quickshot Henry, joined at the cast today for the first time by Maurice Amazing Stuckenschneider. Dude, welcome to the desk.
Thank you. I'm pretty nervous, though.
You're going to be awesome. We've done practice casts all week, and we're going to look at the junglers. Before, though, let's take a look at the teams who are facing off to start us on 8.4. On the blue side, it is, of course, Rocket with a Prophet, Memento, Blank, Hiku, and Norskeren. They are doing battle with their opponents today, Giants, and this is a middle of the table clash. Giants, of course, let's introduce the players to you with Ruin in the top lane, Joko in the jungle, Betsy in the mid lane, Steelback, and Targamas, the AD carry and support. And amazing, I mentioned it, we're playing on patch 8.4. We've seen a little bit of it in LVP. You've seen a lot of it in solo queue. What is it going to do for these 2 teams on stage today?
It's going to be interesting to see because obviously with the new patch, the tracker snap being gone means that you have to rely on blue and red smite to basically carry games. And we obviously know that both of these junglers have a lot of solo queue experience and competitive experience. That in both cases they should be able to adapt. But I do think it favors Joker a bit because Memento has been relying on vision a lot. Especially
because he's so comfortable. Look at him in his chair. They're amazing. As casual as can be. His opponent, Memento, of course, less games played on stage, 54 under his belt. play style-wise, also very different, very vision-reliant. If we look at Joko, he's up at, I think, 72 games. Break down for me the difference in these individual play styles and what we should expect in this game.
Yeah, it seems to me that Joko really doesn't care, but no, it's basically like that shows in his play. He's not afraid to make plays, and he's basically like always trying to be in the moment to a certain extent, where he looks for plays, he looks for ganks whenever he can. Whereas on the other hand, Memento is kind of this control jungler who tries to pace his team and plays with the pace of his team. So that means he's basically setting up vision and setting them up for success instead of himself.
All right, let's see which style will come out on top. Of course, both of these teams, neither of them have qualified for playoffs in a very long time. For Roccat, it was summer 2015, the last time they were there. For Giants, I believe it was 2016, so it's a long time ago. It's not only the junglers that have had changes, mid lane as well. What do you think of some of the itemization changes and how it's going to impact sort of the mid lane meta along with the champion buffs and nerfs?
I think the cooldown reduction, the haste passive basically being on a couple of items, means that there's going to be a 20% cooldown reduction on a lot of items as the first item. So that means there's going to be that huge power spike early on. And we'll see a lot of roams, and I think that will dictate the meta, where we'll see a lot of Ryze, Taliyah, basically champions that can enable themselves and enable the team to basically make plays early on.
And hopefully no Zoe. That would make me very happy.
She's dead.
If she's dead, I mean, she's not going to be banned. That also means theoretically it opens up another ban. What else is top tier for you, Amazing, like phase 1 bans for these teams?
I think Braum, Skarner, Sion, and Ryze kind of, and Varus is the question mark for me. But the first 4 that I mentioned are really, really important nowadays, where Braum is the preferred support, because Skarner is definitely the dominant jungler because he can always get a gank off.